Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're taking a whole stack of your sources. We've got dermatology journals, clinical summaries, some really cutting-edge research, and building a custom deep dive on a topic that really is at the core of long-term wellness.
Oh, absolutely. We're
Well,
talking about decoding the aging process of skin.
exactly. And it's an area where having the right knowledge just translates directly into impact.
It really does. I mean, aging is a natural biological process. Of course it is. But what the sources all agree on is that if you understand the mechanisms,
Right, the why.
the why,
Mm-hmm.
things like decreased collagen, slower cell turnover, once you get that, you can build a strategy to counteract it and, maintain a much healthier complexion
Yeah.
for years, even decades.
That's our mission today. We are
Yeah.
going to unpack those biological breakdowns. We'll differentiate between the ways your skin ages because it's not just one thing.
Not at all.
And then we're going to deliver a really actionable roadmap for prevention and repair. We want you to walk away with a genuine strategy, not just a shopping list of ingredients.
Think of it like getting the engineering schematic for your skin.
Okay, let's unpack this. We're starting right at the foundation, the structural changes that really kick off the whole process.
So the primary battleground, if you want to call it that, is deep beneath the surface.
Down in the dermal layer.
Exactly. And that's where you find these two proteins that are basically the entire architecture of your skin.
Okay.
Collagen and elastin.
Okay, so collagen is for firmness.
Collagen is the structure, the firmness,
Yeah.
and then elastin, that gives it that crucial,
To snap back.
the snapback, yeah, that elasticity. But the problem is, starting in your mid-20s, your body just drastically slows down its production of both.
So the entire support system starts to weaken. What does that actually, look like on a cellular level?
It's really a loss of mechanical integrity. With less collagen, the skin starts to sag because it just doesn't have that vertical support.
Right.
And with less elastin, when you smile or frown, the skin doesn't bounce back as quickly. That sort of hesitation is what creates the fine lines.
And eventually the deeper wrinkles.
Hmm.
And the sources also point out that it's not just the proteins. The skin's renewal cycle, that cell turnover, it also slows way down.
And that is the very definition of dullness. When turnover is fast, you have these fresh, plump, light-reflecting cells on the surface.
So you look radiant.
You look radiant. But when it slows, that top layer, the stratum corneum, it just gets congested with old, dead skin cells. And they scatter light instead of reflecting it.
Which gives you that rough, uneven look.
Precisely. And on top of that, the dermis itself actually gets thinner over time.
Okay, so a thinner dermis. What does that mean for the skin's overall health?
Well, you have less cushion. So
Yeah.
first, the skin is just more fragile. It bruises more easily.
And it becomes more sensitive.
More sensitive, exactly. And what's visually frustrating for a lot of people is that the thinning makes all the underlying structures, like tiny veins and capillaries, much more visible.
Okay, so that structural decline is what leads to all the signs we can actually see and monitor. We all know about fine lines like crow's feet. But what are the other big flags?
Well, beyond texture, a huge one, the source's flag is chronic dryness. The skin just loses its ability to hold on to moisture.
Okay.
But maybe the most telling sign of long-term damage is pigmentation, specifically age spots.
Which people often call liver spots, but they have nothing to do with the liver.
Nothing at all. They're actually just patches of localized hyperpigmentation.
So they're not just giant freckles.
No, they're a direct response to sun exposure.
Hmm.
They're flat, usually brown or gray, and they pop up on the areas that have seen the most sun over a lifetime. The face, hands, shoulders.
So they're basically a visible record of UV damage.
A perfect record. They're a hallmark of what we call photoaging. They are your skin's attempt over many years to protect the deeper layers by producing more melanin.
And I think the sources also mention things like enlarged pores.
Right, which makes perfect sense. If you lose elasticity, the structure around the pore gets slack, so it appears larger.
And what about benign growths? Things like seborrheic keratosis.
Yes, or cherry angiomas. They're also very common. But if you connect all the dots, every single one of these signs, the lines, the spots, the fragility, it all comes back to that biological trio.
The decline in proteins, the slow turnover, and the inability to hold water.
Once you get that, the solutions start to make a lot more sense.
That's a perfect transition into the different causes of the damage. And here's where it gets really interesting, because it's not just one single process.
No, and understanding the different types is key to prevention. First, you have intrinsic aging.
This is the genetic lottery, basically.
It's purely genetically programmed. It's the unavoidable aging that starts in your mid-20s. It's very gradual, subtle, fine lines, a slow drop in hydration.
So even if you lived in a bubble, you'd still get intrinsic aging.
You would. Then there's chronological aging, which is just the effect of time passing. Then you've got extrinsic aging. This is all the external stuff, most of which you can control.
Like smoking, pollution, stress.
Exactly. Bad diet, not enough sleep. It's basically intrinsic aging on fast forward, with extra damage thrown in.
But the sources were clear that the single most destructive external factor is
Photoaging. Without a doubt, it's almost entirely caused by chronic UV radiation exposure.
which is why we talk about sunscreen constantly.
It's non-negotiable. And we're not just talking about a sunburn. UV rays cause DNA mutations. They create a massive storm of free radicals, and this is critical. They activate enzymes that actively destroy your existing collagen.
So they're not just preventing new collagen, they're tearing down what you already have.
They are actively tearing it down. It leads to those deep, leathery wrinkles, broken capillaries. It is just catastrophic for skin architecture.
And the last category is hormonal aging.
Right, which is tied to major hormone shifts.
Yeah.
The most significant example is the drop in estrogen during menopause.
What does that do to the skin?
It causes dramatic thinning, severe dryness, and it really slows down the skin's ability to heal itself.
Okay, so we have genetics, environment, and hormones. But there's this surprising internal accelerator that the sources flagged as being just as damaging, and that's sugar.
Yes, the link is direct, and the mechanism is. It's fascinatingly destructive. It's a process called glycation.
Glycation. Okay, break that down for us.
So when you have excess sugar molecules in your bloodstream, they start looking for things to latch onto, and they love proteins,
Specifically collagen and elastin.
ones you need most.
Yeah.
The sugar attaches to these fibers and forms these harmful new compounds called advanced glycation end products.
Or AGEs. Wow, that is a very fitting acronym.
It's perfect, isn't it? Think of it like a slow internal caramelization process. Your healthy, flexible collagen fibers become stiff, brittle, and cross-linked.
So they literally can't do their job anymore. They lose that ability to stretch and recoil.
Precisely. It directly leads to faster wrinkle formation, sagging, all of it. And on top of that, sugar is highly inflammatory, which weakens the skin's defenses and slows down all those repair processes you're trying to encourage.
That's a huge insight. You could be using the best retinoids, the best vitamin C serum, but if your diet is high in sugar, you're literally fighting yourself from the inside.
You are fighting a war on two fronts. Prevention is every bit as critical as topical repair.
So let's shift into that actionable strategy. We know slowing things down starts with defense.
And that defense begins with hydration, both inside and out.
Okay, so drinking water.
Yes, but also topical hydration. Using a good moisturizer supports your skin barrier, and that barrier is your absolute frontline defense.
Why is the barrier so important for aging skin?
Because a damaged barrier is a leaky barrier. A healthy one keeps moisture in, and a hydrated skin looks less wrinkled, and it keeps aggressors out.
Pollution, UV, all of that.
All of it. Now, our sources distilled this down into 9 preventative steps, but let's focus on the absolute must-dos. Number 1, and we can't say it enough, is sunscreen.
Every single day.
Every single day. Broad-spectrum SPF 30 or higher. The research is so clear. UV rays go through clouds, they go through glass. You need it when you're driving, when you're inside. It is priority 1.
And then what about active ingredients? Steps 4 and 5, and the sources focused on those.
Yes. Step 4 is using antioxidants in the morning.
Like vitamin C?
Vitamin C, vitamin E, niacinamide. Their job is to neutralize all that free radical damage you get from the sun and pollution during the day.
And step 5.
That's using retinoids at night.
Yeah.
Their job is to boost that declining collagen production and speed up cell turnover while you sleep.
And of course, the internal factors we mentioned. The lifestyle stuff.
Oh, they're non-negotiable. Avoiding smoking, limiting alcohol.
Fine.
They're both massive free radical generators. Eating a diet rich in antioxidants, colorful fruits, vegetables, fatty fish.
And sleep.
And sleep. 7 to 9 hours. That's when your body does the vast majority of its cellular repair.
Yeah.
If you skip sleep, you are skipping your repair cycle.
Now, the sources even mentioned something I found interesting. Facial exercises. Is there real science behind that?
There is. As a complementary measure, it's not a primary treatment, but it helps. It works in 2 ways. First, it strengthens the underlying muscles.
So you're building up the scaffolding under the skin.
A little bit, yes. It can create a more toned, lifted appearance. But second, And maybe more importantly, it boosts blood circulation to the face.
And more blood means more oxygen, more nutrients.
Exactly. It feeds the cells, helps with renewal, and it also enhances lymphatic drainage.
Which helps with puffiness.
Yes, especially in the morning. So it's that holistic approach that really creates results.
All right, let's get into the nitty-gritty, the routine and the heavy hitter treatments. The sources laid out a really clear twice-daily rhythm.
They did. And the morning routine is all about defense. You start with a gentle cleanse, maybe a toner. Then the most important step is your vitamin C serum.
You want that on before you face the day.
You need that antioxidant shield on first.
Yeah.
Then a hydrating cream, and you always finish with your sunscreen. That's your morning armor.
And the evening routine is all about repair.
All repair and regeneration. So you cleanse and tone again. Then you apply your powerhouse active, your retinoid or retinol.
To speed up turnover and build collagen.
While you sleep, then maybe an eye cream with peptides or caffeine. And you lock it all in with a really rich, occlusive moisturizer or overnight mask to prevent water loss.
What about exfoliation?
1 to 2 times a week.
Yeah.
And the sources really emphasize using gentle chemical exfoliants.
AAs or BHAs.
Yes. Not harsh physical scrubs.
Mhm.
You want to dissolve the bonds holding those dead cells, not tear at your skin.
Okay, so what if that daily routine isn't quite enough for, say, deeper wrinkles or significant volume loss? What are the advanced options?
For more aggressive results, you move to professional treatments. You've got things like chemical peels, which use concentrated acids to just remove that outer damaged layer.
And laser treatments.
Right. Things like IPL or fractional lasers. They're incredible for targeting sunspots, pigmentation, and resurfacing the skin to stimulate new collagen.
What about microneedling? How does poking your face with tiny needles actually help?
It's actually brilliant. It works by creating thousands of tiny, controlled micro-injuries. This tricks your body into thinking there's a wound that needs healing.
So it kicks off an emergency repair response.
A massive one. Your body floods the area with growth factors, and the result is a huge surge in the production of brand new, healthy collagen and elastin.
And then for the really dynamic lines or volume loss, you have injectables.
You do. Botox relaxes the muscles that cause expression lines. And dermal fillers, usually made of hyaluronic acid, literally just replace lost volume in the cheeks or temples.
It's clear there are so many levers we can pull. Let's talk about some of the specific active ingredients the sources called out.
Absolutely. One of the peptides mentioned was Matrixyl 3000. And it's not just a moisturizer. It's what we call a signaling peptide.
So it's sending a message to the skin cells.
It's sending a message. It basically tricks your fibroblasts into thinking there's damage, so they ramp up their natural collagen production. It's telling your cells to get back to work.
That's incredibly smart. And for antioxidants.
The sources highlighted Kakadu plum, which is a powerhouse. It reportedly has up to 100 times the vitamin C of an orange.
Wow.
So that gives you a much more potent shield against free radicals.
What about something more traditional like beef tallow? The sources mentioned that for moisture.
Yes. And the reason is its compatibility with our own skin. Its fatty acid profile is incredibly similar to human sebum R skin's natural oil.
So the skin recognizes it.
It recognizes it, which means it can absorb it beautifully and use it to repair the skin barrier. It's fantastic for deep moisture and elasticity, especially for really dry, aging skin.
So whether it's high-tech peptides, potent botanicals, or time-tested naturals, we have very precise tools to support the skin's structure.
Absolutely. The final so what from all this, the key takeaway, is that great skin health requires this dual strategy. You have to defend against the external factors, UV, sugar, while you simultaneously support your internal repair systems with the right actives, consistency, and lifestyle choices.
So we've taken you from the deep biology of collagen breakdown all the way to a practical daily routine you can start tonight.
You now know what's happening, why it's happening, and exactly how to fight back effectively.
So what does this all mean? When you consider that incredibly strong, scientifically proven link between a high-sugar diet, the creation of those AGEs, and the literal breakdown of your collagen, it raises a really fascinating question. If sugar is actively caramelizing your skin's support structure from the inside, how much can any expensive cream you put on the outside truly accomplish long-term? That balance between internal health and external care, that's a question worth exploring next.